As we get started today, let me mention that rather than stating, which is likely the wake word for some of your Echo devices, I'll be referring to her today as Miss A. Recently, I received a question from a viewer asking, can SmartThings control Wi-Fi or Bluetooth devices which are made to work with Miss A? The answer is, it depends on the specific brand or model. The truth is that you'll not be able to view or control most Wi-Fi or Bluetooth devices within SmartThings. But even if you're not able to control the device within SmartThings, you can control the device indirectly. This is accomplished via the setup of a virtual switch in SmartThings. This virtual switch can then be used in a Miss A routine as a trigger to power on your Miss A compatible Wi-Fi or Bluetooth device. Let me show you how I set up this capability. To demonstrate this setup, I purchased a smart LED light bulb that is verified to work with Miss A. The bulb is a soft white 8.7 watt Bluetooth mesh that emits a brightness of 800 lumens. It was easily paired with Miss A. I twisted the bulb into the socket, I asked Miss A to discover my devices, and it was quickly discovered. I also installed a motion detector in my utility room. Motion detection is used as an action trigger within a SmartThings automation to change the status of the virtual switch. The status change in the virtual switch is used as an action trigger in the Miss A routine to tell Miss A to power the light bulb on. Some of you may be thinking, why don't you just create a routine within the Miss A app to turn the power onto the bulb whenever motion is detected? Well, that's exactly what I'm doing here. However, this cannot be done exclusively within the Miss A app. This is because the Miss A app can only view certain smart devices, which include smart bulbs, plugs, and switches. The app is unable to discover contact or motion sensors that are created within the SmartThings app. Thus, you need a proxy switch that is shared with the Miss A app. Let me first show you this setup graphically so that you can better understand how SmartThings and Miss A share the virtual switch to turn on the light bulb. Then I'll show you a live take of the automation in action. And then finally, I'll show you how to install the virtual switch, write a SmartThings automation, and then write the Miss A routine. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here is my graphic depiction of the virtual switch between SmartThings and the Miss A app. We're going to start off in the SmartThings app. The virtual switch, which I'll show you how to create, will be in the app, and it's just a switch that you basically toggle on or off. But we're going to use that switch in a SmartThings automation that will cause it to be turned on with the detection of motion. So the switch starts in the off state. Motion is detected, the switch is turned on. That status is telegraphed over to the Miss A app, and when this switch turns on, the Miss A app will use it as a trigger in a routine to turn the light bulb on. Once the light bulb turns on, then we'll start a delay for 15 minutes, or a timer if you will. After that 15 minutes has expired, the Miss A routine will turn the light bulb off, and it'll also turn that switch from on to off. And that off status then will be relayed over to the SmartThings app so that the cycle will be complete and they're ready for another motion event to trigger the switch back on. So hopefully that helps explain it. Let me show you this in a live take situation so you can see exactly how the two routines work together. Okay, so here we are back in our utility area where I have both the bulb and the motion sensor set up, and for the purposes of this demonstration I changed the routine to turn the light on for 10 seconds and then turn it off. Normally this would be set at 15 minutes. The reason I set up this routine is I come down to take care of the wood stove in the mornings when it's dark down here. And it's nice not to have to fumble for a light in the mornings whenever it's dark. I simply walk in this area and my motion triggers the light. So I've been standing pretty still here so not to trigger the motion detector. So I'm going to slowly walk forward here and my motion should be detected, which would trigger the light on. There you see it, and you'll see it stay on for 10 seconds. and then trigger back off. And there it's back off. So let's give it a responsiveness test. I'm going to go ahead and walk back through at a regular pace as I would in the morning, and we'll see how quickly that light triggers on. So here we go. Back through, there you see the light, you see the motion detector up there, and it comes on. So it works pretty responsively. One thing I'll point out, this light does have one of those pull cords on it, and I was careful to move that pull cord up out of the way so that I don't inadvertently turn that socket off. Obviously, if that's turned off, the automation's not going to work. So that's the one drawback. If you have a wall switch and somebody manually turns the switch off when the light is on, it's obviously not going to work in the next automation. So that's one catch. Here we are into the raw code. This is from GitHub, and I'll leave a link in the description below so you can link directly to this raw code. What you need to do is copy all of this code, and I'm going to just hit Control A. That selects all the text. I'm going to right click my mouse, hit copy. Then I'm going to go into the SmartThings Groovy IDE. We have to log in, so I'm going to go ahead and hit log in button, and we'll sign in with the Samsung account. Okay, once you're in here, want to click on your location, then go to My Device Handlers. In here, I have already set this simulated switch up. This is the one that you're going to set up. So I'm going to go ahead and replicate that so you can see how it's done. What you want to do is go into the upper right hand corner here where it says create a new device handler. Click on that. Click on from code, and then just paste that code we just copied into here. So right click, paste, and then down here you want to hit create. Okay, and then you would hit publish, and then for me you would click on that. I'm not going to do that because I've already got this set up, so I don't want to set up another device handler. So I'm going to go back to My Device Handlers. So after you click for me, you'll go back to your device handlers. You're going to see simulated Miss A switch that is published. You'll see here. So I'm going to take this one out so that I don't have two duplicate switches in there. So the other one is a button. It's more like a press button. So if you have an application where you need a momentary switch, that's where you'll use that particular one. But we're using this one here, simulated Miss A switch. So once you have that published in there, you want to go up to My Devices, and we're going to create a new device, and this will cause it to show up into your new SmartThings app. So if we scroll down here to the bottom, I have this utility light virtual switch, and again it's using that device handler that we just created, this simulated Miss A switch. So once you create a device handler like this simulated Miss A switch, you can use this switch over and over again. So you can use it to, say for instance you had another use. For now I'm just using it to trigger a light bulb. You might want to trigger something else that is recognized in the Miss A app. So you can use this over and over again. The only difference is that you'll name it, whatever you're using it for, so that it's understandable to you. You'll use the same, these are called type switch, and then you're just going to change the network ID. So here I named it Miss A switch 3. So the next one you create, you may say Miss A switch 4, and then Miss A switch 5, using that same device handler as a type in each new switch. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set this up so that you'll know how to do that. So to do that, you go all the way to the top, say new device. You'll name this device whatever you want to. We're going to call this test. The label can be the same. The label is what actually shows up, so this can be different. We'll call this test switch. So that's what you'll see in your SmartThings app. Nothing goes into the Zigbee ID, but you do have to put something in the device network ID. And so as you recall, I called this Miss A switch 3. So we're going to just change this to Miss A switch 4. And then here's the type. This is where we're going to select that device handler that we just created, which is the simulated Miss A switch. So I'm selecting that, as you see right there. It shows that it's published. I'm going to use it on my home hub. So location, Bud's home hub, Bud's home hub. The group you can set once you're in the app. We're going to go ahead and create this just so you'll see it show up, but we're not really going to use that. And by the way, when you set this up, it automatically telegraphs over to the Miss A app. So you'll have it both in your SmartThings app as well as your Miss A app. So we want to go back to My Devices. And if we scroll down, I just created that test switch. Right there it is, using the simulated Miss A switch. This is the one we're actually going to use, the utility light virtual switch in the app. So just to show you, since I created this test switch, I want to show you that it did show up in the app. So let's go ahead and now go over to the app. Okay, so here we are in the SmartThings app, and I'm going to scroll all the way down, and you're going to see that test switch that we created. So I don't really need that switch. I just want to demonstrate how it telegraphed over. I guess while we're in here, let's go ahead and go over to the Miss A app, and I will show you that that switch does show up in the Miss A app as well. So let's go into Devices, and we'll go to All Devices, and you should see the test switch in there. There it is. At the top of the list, you can see test switch. So let's go back to the SmartThings app. Since I don't need that switch, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So to do that, you just go to the top where you see those 3 dots, click on that, edit, and delete device. So now I've taken it out of the SmartThings app, and it's also taken out of the IDE. If we went back in there, you'd see it's no longer in the list of devices. So for this automation, if we look at the basement group, you'll see the utility light virtual switch, and it's currently closed. All right, or currently off or closed. So we want to use that switch in an automation. Now I've got that automation already set up, and I'll show you here. Okay, see at the top of the list it says Miss A switch utility light. So if we go into that automation, all we're doing is saying if that utility room sensor detects motion, so we're looking at that motion sensor, then turn that utility switch on. So if you remember the graphic depiction of how these automation and routines work, when that switch is turned on, that status is telegraphed over to the Miss A app. If we edit it, I can show you that we're basically selecting that sensor and then checking off motion detected and saving that, saving back out of there, so that sets up the sensor to look for motion. And then once motion is detected, we're basically just turning the switch on. And that's all there is to that. We'll hit done, save that routine. Now we can go back over to the Miss A app, and in here we're going to go to the 3 lines on the bottom, select more, and then look for routines in the list, select routines, and then we're going to look down for the specific routine that I wrote, which is utility light on with motion. So we're going to replicate that, and I'll just call it utility light. We're going to add it so you can see what happens. So we're going to call this utility light on. All right, hit done. Next, when this happens, we're going to go into Smart Home, and what we're looking for is that Miss A switch. So utility light virtual switch, see it on the bottom there, or second from the bottom. So we're going to select that, and we're going to say when that is opened, hit next. So then we're going to add an action, and that action is to turn a light bulb on. So we're going to check for lights in the list. So click on Smart Home first, and then click on Lights, and then we're going to look for that utility light. So it's down at the bottom, utility room light. We'll click on that. Next, we want to select both power and brightness. Power we want to turn on. Brightness we want at 100%. We'll go ahead and hit Next. All right, so we want the light on at 100%. Remember then I said we wanted to have a 15-minute timer set, turn it off, and then also change that switch, that virtual switch, to the off position. So we want to add another action by hitting that plus sign. And now we're going to look for a delay. This is called Wait. We'll click on Wait. And as I mentioned, I wanted to go for 15 minutes. You see 15 minutes under durations, hit Next. And then we're going to add another action. We're going to have to sort these probably in the end. So we want to find that light bulb again. So we're going to go into our Smart Home again, look for lights, and again, at the bottom is that utility room light. Select that, hit Next. This time we want to take power and turn it off. Hit Next. All right, and we have one more action, and that is to set that virtual switch off. Okay, so we want to find Smart Home. All right, and then we want to select all devices. We'll scroll down, and we're looking for that virtual switch. There you see it, second from the bottom. Click on that. This time we want to turn it off. Hit Next. All right, so now we just have to reorder these. So first we want the light on at 100%, so that gets moved to the top. Then we want our timer for 15 minutes, so we'll move that next. Then we want to turn the light off. And then we want to power that utility virtual switch off. So there you have it, that's the routine. We'll save it. And done. If this content helped you in any way, please take a moment to like this video. That'll tell the YouTube algorithms that this is information that may benefit other smart home automation enthusiasts. If you have comments or questions, please record them in the comments section below the video. And if you're interested in sourcing some of my smart home products, which I use in my setup, tap on the Amazon store link in the description below. This will give you access to a comprehensive list of recommended devices, and I do make a small commission on these items that you purchase. However, that commission does not increase your cost in any way. The sales of those items support my efforts so that I can continue to bring you more content like today's video. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next home automation video. Until then, keep automating and God bless.